Many people don't consider themselves as having a disability, so an inclusive design approach has the advantage of enabling people who would not think to look for accessibility. It makes things easier for everyone. Neil Milliken. Hi, my name is Renee Krinian-Kazumas. I work as a special education teacher. Despite this, I honestly struggled with my topic, inclusive apps for special education. Surprising, right? I should be able to find information easily with my 14 years combined experience as a para and teacher in special education. So why was I having so much trouble? Reflecting on what Neil Milliken stated, I realized why it was so hard for me to find more than just a few apps geared for special education. As I explored the various technologies, I could see most of them being used in ways to engage all learners. That being said, I will mainly focus on the uses in special education for the applications, extensions, and programs selected for this presentation. Together we will explore the applications for reading, writing, math, and a couple for visual impairments. While I only highlight a few that I enjoyed trying or experimented with, keep in mind that there are many more that can be used to meet the needs of your students. What is an inclusive classroom? How would you begin to have an inclusive classroom, especially in the new age of virtual classrooms, where the emphasis is becoming more and more in technology? Inclusion is not limited to education, yet, for the purposes of the presentation, it means that learners of all abilities are active participants. Their needs as learners and individuals are being met, giving them access and support to all aspects of the educational curriculum. You may be familiar with the term Universal Design for Learning, or UDL. There are 3 modes of providing an environment incorporating the principles of UDL: engagement, representation, and action and expression. With regards to technology and accessibility, in a presentation by Jamie Fons at ISTE Live 2020, she describes the 4 principles of accessibility as mentioned in the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines 2.0. The simple acronym is POUR. Perceivable. Can content be represented in the multiple ways that an individual chooses to or needs to use it, such as text-to-speech, video, or audio? Operable. Is content able to be navigated in multiple forms, such as keyboard shortcuts, word prediction, audio recording? Understandable. Is content scaffolded, presented in a logical manner, and at an appropriate level? How is feedback received? And finally, robust. Is the technology accessible and compatible across devices, platforms? Will it be able to advance with advances in technology? With these ideas in mind, it is important that the technology we choose to use for our students in special education is enhancing their participation in the curriculum in ways that are easily accessible and meet their needs. Who doesn't love to use the latest apps or extensions? I know I do, but is it really helping and meeting all your students' needs, or just all the rave right now? For the past 2 years, I have been in the classroom as a special education resource teacher, providing services in reading and writing. My favorite subject is reading. I'll get to writing in a bit. Have you ever come across a new, difficult word and struggled to say it, like Worcestershire, quinoa, loquacious? Yes, I know I said that first word wrong. It happens every time and ties my tongue in knots. Keep in mind that I work in the elementary setting, so the odds that one of my students would have to have a strong grasp on all of these words is very small. For some students, even words that we might consider simple, such as earth, important, or garden, can be stumbling blocks. This may be the cause for challenges in basic reading and/or fluency. It may be that some learners also struggle with comprehension because so much of their brain power is focused on reading and decoding the words that they struggle to understand them. It may be that the reader has seen the words before but doesn't know what they mean. But what if they have tools such as Immersive Reader, Snap and Read, or Read and Write? Immersive Reader is available through Microsoft Education account and for the web as a Google extension. I go into greater detail in my podcast, but let's just take a quick look here. It has the ability to increase readability by changing font size, increase spacing, and change background and font color of text, and translation. Remember those words that some people, even I, might struggle to say or understand? Well, here they are, And if I go into my immersive reader by looking for this symbol right here, I can open it up and it's even separated by syllables. And if I click on it, I can hear it.
Worcestershire.
And it is even with picture symbols. So if a student wants to see what a word means, they click and they see a picture and then they can listen to the word. I can even go up to the text preferences and change the size, increase the spacing. And then if I go into reading preferences, I can show a line focus and it moves it to one line or more if needed.
Earth is very important to all life.
So let me try that word again. Worcester. With the immersive reader, I was able to then mimic and hear it and say it myself. And what about web pages? Using the Chrome extension, this is before immersive reader. I select the section I want, and then I click Help Me Read This. And then I expand my screen to get rid of any other distractions, and this is after. Click on Syllables, and it's the same as in the Microsoft one. Read and Write and Snap and Read Universal are both Chrome extensions. Read and Write is another screen reader, as is Snap and Read. But Snap and Read has some features similar to Immersion Reader. But a few of the differences are the PDF reader, simplifying language, and creating outlines for research projects. It even helps to cite the source in various formats. I have a few students who use this as assistive technology, and I can look at their profile to see how often it is being used and if it is helping meet reading goals. To use the PDF reader in Snap and Read Universal, you'll click on the crosshair for Snap and Read, and then you'll click on PDF Reader. If you send them a document in their drive, they can open something in the drive. I'm going to choose my device, and I'm going to open one of my 4th grade reading passages, and I could just highlight. If I wanted to, I would just use this crosshair and I could pick where I wanted to read. And then in order to get to work, I would press this little green button and it would work just like the immersive reader. Remember that red fox? Well, one of my students is actually researching a red fox and she has a trouble with citing her sources. So you would click down here, this little button, click on New Outline, highlight, and it would bring it over and it would even tell you where it came from and all the different formats. But perhaps she doesn't know what the words notable characteristics mean. So we'll highlight that, click on it, and ask able to be seen or worthy of attention. It could be easily broken down for the student. As I stated before, I am also a writing resource teacher. Writing can be difficult, to say the least, even when in person. 3 of the tools which can be used for writing are Google Voice Typing, CoWriter, and Clicker. Google Voice is simply a dictation tool used to record speech. CoWriter is a word prediction Chrome extension. Students begin typing a word, are given possible words, and then click to listen before choosing the word they want to use to finish the sentence. Clicker 8 is software in which a student can write sentences, organize thoughts from teacher-made or pre-made sets. With regards to math, a student may require multiple means of representation or see the steps involved. There are 3 tools I found to be helpful in that respect: the Math Learning Center, Microsoft Math Learning Tools, and Equatio. The Math Learning Center has interactive apps which feature virtual manipulatives such as clocks, geoboards, base 10 blocks, number lines, and more. Content can be scaffolded as needed, as you could see. Microsoft Math Learning Tool allows the user to write an equation and also see the steps as well as the solution, as you can see here. And I found out the hard way that if you write a 2, then you will end up with something called a partial differential, which in elementary school, I don't think many of them use that. But what's really cool is it also lists the steps.
Steps for solving linear equation. subtract 2 from both sides.
You can even graph your equations. And finally, there's Equatio. Equatio is a Google Chrome extension that allows the user or the students to input math equations. And the really cool thing that I found about Equatio is that it also works with a program called Desmos. Desmos allows users who require the use of Braille to be able to participate in the math curriculum. For students with visual impairments, there are a few inclusive tools that we can use. One is Desmos, which I've already described as working with Equatio. We also have Seeing AI and Envision AI. Both of these are mobile apps that can be used either through Android, which is Envision, and Seeing AI, which is Apple. Both of these apps describe the world around the person, including documents, money, facial recognition of people, and describing scenes around them. As with all technology, there are pros and cons to the programs and tools that I have shared with you, such as cost. Some of them offer a free trial, but then you pay yearly or monthly. Usability and learning curve, some might take longer. Compatibility across formats, so you may not have the same features between all of the different versions. I hope that you have enjoyed my presentation, and here are my references. Remember, again, these were just ones that I had chosen, but there are many, many more.